Greetings. So, what is economic survey? So, economic survey is an annual report of the Ministry of Finance. So, why it is important? It is important from the point of view of both prelims and the mains. Okay. So, what do we do in the survey? In the economic survey, or what is the difference between the budget and economic survey? See, for example, in the budget, we will be dealing with the allocations, expenditure, revenue, taxation, and then money spent towards the welfare schemes. All these sort of the things we will deal in the budget, that for the coming year. But whereas in the economic survey, what we will do? In the economic survey, so we will try to analyze the performance of the country in the last year or the previous year. So based on the performance of the last year only, we can assess what can be the performance in the current year and what can be the allocations that can be made towards the various sectors of the economy. So it is so from the perspective of the from the both prelims and the mains, economic survey is very important. So it is drafted or prepared under the guidance of the Chief Economic Advisor. So current Chief Economic Advisor is Ananta Nageshwaran. So similarly, as we have preamble in the Constitution, which tries to give some kind of intro about the Constitution. Here in the economic survey, we have a thing called as a preface. In the preface, this gentleman, the economic advisor, tries to give what are all the things that were discussed in this economic survey. So we will try to just understand or try to get his viewpoints through the current discussion. So what he is saying that India is entering 2026 with the very strong economic fundamentals. So what we call the strong economic fundamentals. See, if you consider India, the inflation rate is always under the control. The prices of the common commodities is under the control. India has the enough foreign exchange reserves that can last for the 8 to 10 months. And then, does India have so much any debt burden? Does India have any debt burden? No. Compared to many countries, India has the less foreign debt burden. So all these things saying that India has the strong macroeconomic fundamental. And then he is also saying that the tax collections have been good, and then credit flow is good. And he is also saying that all these things are showing that the resilient in the Indian economy. Why is saying resilient in the Indian economy? Because of the COVID, India has been impacted. See, the lives of the people have been destroyed, and see, many people lost their jobs, many people lost their lives. See, all the impact of the COVID. See, COVID has impacted everybody. So similarly, Indian economy also got crippled by the COVID. So he is saying that Indian economy recovered, and it is saying that India recovered because India has the strong macroeconomic fundamentals. So that's why, and he is also mentioning about the resilience of the Indian economy. So first, how he is saying that Indian economy is resilient. See, initially during the COVID time, what happened? See, most of the work has been stalled. Many of the products also stalled. And then, see, because of the projects getting stalled, see, many people lost their jobs. At the same time, many of the companies got closed. Yes or no? See, it has helped the online or the retail, which are based upon the online things. But what about the offline markets? So all these things have been crippled by the COVID. So once because of this COVID effect, So what has happened? Government has to spend so much of money on the health infrastructure, and then it needs to give some welfareism also. By all this led to the rise in the revenue expenditure. So once revenue expenditure has increased, our fiscal deficit also got increased. So in the year 2021 and 22, Indian government has kept the target to bring the fiscal deficit under the control. So they kept the target of 4.9. So they kept the target of 4.9 against the target of 4.9. They are able to achieve the target of 4.8. See, so this because of this he is saying that our economy is performing very well. So he is also saying that this fiscal deficit is achieved not because of the not because of the decrease in the spending. He is saying that they achieved this fiscal deficit by spending in the capital expenditure in the public domain. And then he is also saying that the public capital expenditure. So why capital expenditure is important? Capital expenditure is important because it will create the assets. These assets in the future is going to help these assets going to help the economy to grow. For example, if the building an airport, see, it will improve the logistics. If you are laying a road and if you are converting a double lane road to 4-lane road, what will happen? See, the time taken to travel will reduce, thereby decreasing the delivery of the goods. So it improves the logistics performance also, and it also improves the ease of doing business. So he is mentioning all these things. And then so see, this is the deficit trends. So fiscal deficit initially it is around 6.4 and then came down to 4.8. So that is in the 24-25. And then he is also mentioning about the interest rates and the monetary conditions. So whenever if you are good at money and the banking, we used to refer that the interest rates. So why interest rates are important? For example, see, if you are buying a vehicle or if you are buying a house, we used to ask like, see, what is the interest rate? Yes or no? So if interest rates are less, people tend to borrow. So if you observe clearly, what are assets of the bank? Assets of the bank are the loans, deposits are the liabilities. So if the assets are more, then the profitability of the bank increases, and then there will be the circulation of the money. Yes or no? So, and he is also saying that the inflation is broadly contained and fiscal credibility improved. He is saying that despite affected by the COVID, he is saying that the fiscal credibility improved, and then he is saying that the inflation broadly contained, and then he is also saying that the bond yields are good. So he is also saying that the RBI supporting the growth through interest rate cuts. So what is a bond yield? See, what is a bond yield? See, if you are buying a bond, for example, if NHA releases a bond, and if you buy it for 100 rupees, so if it is going to after 5 years, if it is going to yield you like 200, then 100 rupees is the bond yield. So similarly, how can you say that the bond yield will be less if you are buying the bond at a higher cost, and then if you are receiving, like if you are buying a bond at 150 and in the future if you are going to receive a 200, you may say that the bond yield is less. Okay, so, and he is also saying that the current situation is an virtuous combination of the cycle. It is saying that we are having a credible fiscal power and low sovereign risk, and then scope for easier monetary policy. So we all know about the monetary policy. The monetary policy mainly meant to control the inflation and also to regulate the flow of the money in the economy. Okay, see all these terms, see we need to read what we call economic survey in such a way that whatever terms that are coming in the economic survey, we need to remember, we need to revise properly, because see most of the times UPSC tries to pick these kind of words from the economic survey, and then they will try to ask in the prelims, and even the things which are mentioned in the box in the economic survey also, they also try to give them as a comprehensions also. We can see this trend in the 2017 CSAT paper. So you understood this, right? Any doubts? Fine. So what is this is the monetary policy cycle. So when we have an unstable economy, or like if there is too much of money flow in the economy. For example, what happened in the case of Venezuela. So Venezuela, if you wanted to buy 1 kg of rice, you need to take money like with one big cart, like, so that if you see the pictures you will understand. So for buying 1 kg of rice or anything else, we need to carry like 10 millions or 10 billion something. And then see in that they will control the money supply, so it leads to the economic stability and the growth. And then see this is just try to look at the monetary policy role. So loose monetary policy means borrowing is easy, consumers buys more, and business expands, more people are employed, and people spend more. That is a loose monetary policy. Tight monetary policy, see borrowing is difficult, consumers buy less, and the unemployment increases and the production reduces. See monetary policy we will read it as a part of the banking and everything. So we can discuss there more. So and then he is also mentioning of the why our economy is performing well. He is saying that because of the tax breaks. Because of the tax breaks means some kind of incentives. See there might be giving some incentives, like if you are if you got a new, if you have a child, so obviously your expenditure will be more, right? So if money, you should have some disposable income with you so that you can spend. So in order to keep some disposable income in your hand, so they will reduce your tax burden on you. So if they are reducing the tax burden on you, means they are giving you the disposable income in your hand. If you have disposable income in your hand, what you are going to do? You are going to spend that money. Thereby you are creating the demand. If you are creating the demand, means then it will lead to the growth. Demand means production will happen more. Then you are creating one kind of growth in the economy. So tax breaks for the households. So it is leading to consumption demand, and then about the tax complaints. See if you are cutting down the tax rates, or if you are giving some kind of rebate on the tax, on prompt tax payment, so that also leading to the tax complaints. And then it is sharing information with the middle class. So the tax breaks are framed as a consistent with the consolidation, because higher buoyancy for the direct and the indirect taxes. See for example, normally initially see with the income levels growing, the income like the tax also needs to grow. Yes or no? But that is not the case in Indian economy. See, when the income increases, people try to hide that money, or they are trying to do the tax evasion. So because of this, government of India is using the tax mandate. So by giving the tax breaks, they are trying to improve the tax buoyancy. Tax buoyancy is mainly meant to improve the whatever with the increase in the income levels. With the increase of the income levels, the tax paid them also should increase. So these are the kinds of tax break, tax credit, tax exemption, and tax deduction. And then he is also mentioning that earlier India used to be kept at the BBB minus. So it is the credit rating. So there are many international credit rating agencies. They are giving the B minus triple B minus category from the past 20 years. So recently what has happened is, so they upgraded the India to BB minus to BB plus. So what is happening? So all this happened because see we have done the fiscal consolidation, and then we have increased our the capital expenditure, and then it is also saying that the bank balance sheets and NPR declined, and then corporate tax structure is also none, and then we are having the growth also. See, currently we are having the growth rate of around 7%. So all these things led to the improvement in the credit rating. This is the very great thing, because in the past 30 years 20 years we stuck here. See, if you observe the 2017 economic survey, so they said that intentionally these foreign credit rating agencies are giving less rating to the India despite having the less debt, less sovereign debt, and then inflation under the control. So it was an issue. Then now India has improved from B minus category to B. So technically India came from here to here. So this is the how they will give the ratings here. So he is also saying that the India is able to growth, or it is saying that the India is maintaining the strong fundamentals, and for that GST reforms also is one of the factor. See, GST introduced in 2017, now they brought the GST 2.0. Initially we have the 4 slab structure, now they made it to 2 slab structure. So it is leading to the fewer rate slabs and simplified input tax credit. See, you need to know about this term, because in prelims they might ask you input tax credit, and then reduce litigation and stronger tech-based complaints. If you are having the four levels for tax slab, if you have the 4 slab rates, it will be difficult in the technical way also. So which thing needs to be come under which slab? If you have the 2, then it will be easier to be in the complaints, technical complaints. See, this is the GST 2.0 redefining the taxes. So 2 rates now only 5%, 18%. So these things have become the cheaper, and these are the losers. And then see, he is telling why India is performing better, and he is also saying that the why India have the strong macro fundamentals. He is also saying that the initial we have the 29 labor codes, now the rationale is to 4, because earlier if you have the more number of the labor codes, means what happens? See, there will be the scope for the litigation with the number reduced to 4%, only 4. Then less scope for the less scope for litigations and more scope for the complaints. It will be easier for the companies also to recruit. And it is also mentioning about the 100% FDI in the insurance sector. See, he's saying what are the things that has happened in the last year, and he is also saying that what are the things that we are going to discuss in the economic survey in detail. So, and he is also mentioning about the 100% FDI in the insurance sector. So if you are opening up the market, initially we have very less, under 5% penetration in the insurance market. Insurance market has so much of scope, and so many people are untouched. If you are able to reach to them, and then it will be good for the economy as well. So these 29 laws came down to 4 labor codes. One is code on wages, code on social security, and then occupational and the safety health conditions, and industrial relations code. These are the out of 29 existing labor codes, they made it to 4 labor codes. And that he is also saying about the opening of the nuclear power plants to the private people or private sector. See, it is mainly done to improve our what we call power capacity. You know, India is like fourth largest consumer of the energy, right? So by opening the scope for the private players, they're trying to bring efficiency, and also they wanted to show the commitment towards the net zero emissions, which India has pledged as a part of the Paris Peace Climate and then Panchamla strategy also. And then he's also mentioning about the rationalization of the green cover norms. See, for example, what is happening? See, India has so much of the mineral resources, and some of these are in the eco-sensitive zones. So, and then some of them are other regions as well. But because of the stricter economic norms, India is unable to exploit the full potential of these resources. So they also made some relaxations. They made some relaxations so that the clearances will be can be get at something easier way. And he's also saying that the environmental safeguards should be smarter, not just stricter. So these environmental laws should not cripple the development. They should be smart enough to protect the environment. At the same time, they should give the scope for the development as well. And then he is also mentioning about the global scenarios also. With the, for example, with the coming of the Trump, do you know what he has done? He has slashed like 25% as import duty on the Indian products. So reciprocal tariffs, because see, India compared to like India makes some import duties on the foreign goods. For example, very what we call Lamborghini or very big Rolls Royce. These are very high-end cars and the luxurious cars, right? See, the amount of tax or import duty on these goods is around like 30 to 40%. So it is impacting the American companies. And also America has trade deficit with India. So in order to counter all those things, then Trump, after coming to the power, slashed the increased the tariffs to 20%. So this you can see here we have almost like 3 lakh crores towards India. You can see here, right? So US exports 3.46 lakh crores, whereas India exports 7.35 lakh crores. And he is trying to tell you what is the scenario of India. So because despite having less foreign debt and inflation under the control, and then good credit, and then many other things, despite all these things, so India is unable to what we call showcase its power, because it became the victim of the geopolitics and strategic power gap. What is happening in the world currently right now? See, China is on one side, USA, and then USA is trying to what we call trying to flex its muscles, and then there's some kind of war going on, like a tariff war going on between the China and the USA. And all these situations and USSR and Ukraine conflict, all these things are making very complicated for India. That's why he is saying that the India is victim of geopolitics and the strategic power gap. Despite being the second or third largest economy, like maybe fourth largest economy in the world, India is unable to showcase its full potential. See, and he is mentioning that India still relies on foreign capital flows when they dry up due to global politics. The rupee is hit. See, I told you now, see what Trump is doing. See, Trump is trying to shake up the world because of tariffs and all. What will the foreign companies do? They try to avoid Indian markets and all that. So when they avoid Indian markets, what happens? See, the investments will come down. So initially, if the investments are coming down, what happens? The rupee will be hit. and then and he is also mentioning about there is one institute called as Love Institute in Australia, which is saying that the India's strategic power gap. It is saying that the India got around -4. India power gap score is negative. See, India is not showing its. India is unable to show its true power because of the complexities around the world. It is set by the Lowell Institute of Power Gap Index. And then here also he is mentioning about the by rupee is falling down. So now currently dollar value like rupee is 92. $1 equals to 92 rupees, right? So there is fall in the rupee value, and he is saying despite having inflation under control, less debt and investments and FDIs, still Indian rupee is not showing its true potential. That's why he mentioned that the victim of the geopolitics. And then he is also saying that the rupee valuation does not accurately reflecting the India's economic. Rupee valuation does not accurately reflect the India's stellar economic fundamentals. It is punching below its weight. See that what he is saying. He is saying that the India is a victim of the geopolitics. At the same time, why Indian rupee is falling down. And here these are the reasons why Indian rupee is falling down. See, India-US trade talks, foreign investors pulled out like 16.4 billion from Indian stocks, rising deficit, increasing demand for the dollar, and this is the fall in the value of the rupee. And he is saying that the rupee devaluation is not a threat, but it might affect the investor confidence. See, they might ignore the India as a market for the investment. So he is saying that it is a concern for the investor sentiment. And he is also saying that the growth potential is around the 7%. So he is saying that by India is having the 7% of the growth rate. He is saying about why? Because we have the public capital expenditure and crowding in private investments. If the private investments are coming in, then it produces the demand. If demand is coming, growth happens. And then strong financial systems. For example, we have multiple financial regulators, and then we have the strong banking system with less NPA, and we have the IBC also, insolvency bankruptcy code. All these sort of the things are giving the proper, like all these are having a positive impact on the Indian economy at the same time, and we have the balance sheets also maintained properly. So, and then he is also mentioning what is the change in the trade at the global level. He is saying see, we need to understand. Economic advisor is saying that the economy and security and technology space are not tightly interlinked, and this is reshaping the trade capital flows and the currency dynamics. See, we need to understand. See now what is happening. You will understand what we call LDCs, high income countries, middle income countries, and the low income countries. At the same time, we have the developing countries and emerging economies, and the what we call poor countries, undeveloped countries. So what is happening is that if you consider NATO, or if you consider G20, or if you consider G8 or G7, and America and its allies, so the countries which are developed, they are trying to get what we call, they are trying to come under one fold. For them, it is economy. So economy and security and the technology, all these three spheres are becoming more interlinked. See, we can see the technology transfer between America and the European Union. We can see the technology transfer between the America and the European Union. Can we see the same between the America and the China? No. Can we see the same technology transfer between the America and the India? No. Because see, India is not aligned to any of the countries or any of the groups. See, America wanted to protect its own interests. So, like similarly, many Germany or the France, they wanted to protect their own interest. So they are trying to align themselves with the like-minded countries only, right? So he is mentioning all these things. He is saying that the economic security and technology are becoming interlinked. And he is mentioning about that the geopolitical competition has intensified, and he is also saying that the competition between the US and the China has increased, and this is leading to the technology standards and the supply chains. For example, USA is blocking access to the technology. Then China is blocking access to critical minerals. And then see, for example, and then if you recently also you can see the CBA something carbon adjustment at the borders. So that is done by the European Unions. So that is done to prevent the imports from the countries which are not in compliance with the carbon emission standards. So if they are making these kind of the rules, so directly they are impacting the market. So it is bringing some complexity. So and he is also saying that see, benign globalization led by single hegemon has weakened. Instead, world is moving towards a contextual multipolar world. And he is mentioning about some kind of IR also. He is saying earlier world order is dominated by the USA. Now it has been become weakened. Now it became a contested multipolar world with the rise of China, India, and Russia, and then Japan and some other countries as well. So and then he is also mentioning about the security environment in the Europe. See, he is mentioning about the conflicts between the Russia and Ukraine, and then with the Trump coming to the picture, and then the whole NATO question. And then there people also saying, what is the future of NATO also? All these things he mentioned here. And then in the preface also he mentioned about the growth of the AA and its impact. So for example, with the growth of AI and the growth of the blockchain and many other things, they became so complex. So, and these are the technology driven countries, for example, highly developed countries, are trying to block the access of these technologies to the poorer countries. That also he mentioned in the preface. And then he is also mentioning about the use of the green mobility, electric cars, vehicles, everything. See, so these are investing these people are investing. See, if you observe, for example, let me tell you this. See, few years back, one less number of people used to invest in the stocks. Nowadays, if you are scrolling in Instagram, you will see that everything about the AI, and then what we call blockchain or what we call Bitcoin. See, all these things we are seeing. See, because of the excessive use of technology also, sometimes a small anything which can impact the whole ecosystem as well. People may withdraw the money, or like investors may withdraw the money. It may leading to the destabilization of the markets. So he is also saying that what can be done by the India to travel these kind of the geopolitical complexities. He is saying that he's saying that